what's the good word, y'all? DKB here. So we know our offensive coordinator position is probably going to take a little bit of time, right? Hopefully by the middle of next month or so, at the latest, ideally, we've actually narrowed down our list of candidates. We know the offensive coordinator position. It's not the number one in the NFL, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as what I've been seeing in the media. And I came across an article from Mike Jones from The Athletic that was ranking the open offensive coordinator positions as of right now, anyways, 13 or so slots available. And the disrespect is real. So Mike Jones has us ranked as the 12th best offensive coordinator position available that will be out there for candidates that are looking to move up, maybe a lateral move, rebuild their value. So the teams that he had ahead of us: Chargers, Rams, Buccaneers, Ravens, Commanders, Patriots, Panthers, Titans, Cardinals, Broncos, and then the Texans. And the only team that he predicted with a worse situation than us was the Indianapolis Colts. And I just can't see it, right? Again, this isn't going to be the number one position out there, but when you come in as an offensive coordinator, for our New York market, there needs to be a certain level of bravado, swagger, self-confidence that just, can't be shaken to a certain degree. We know that it's not always going to be an easy job whatsoever. When you do well, you're an absolute legend in New York. When you do anything close to bad, you are absolutely the worst individual on planet Earth. So we know what that's like. We know what the feel is. We know the kind of heat and pressure that a candidate is going to get. But in the same breath, you flip the script. If you can find a way to have a successful offense in New York, you're going to be up there with the greats. I mean, you're undoubtedly going to be the number one ranked head coach candidate in the NFL. We're talking about an offense, and not even just from the last year, but historically, since the last time we had Rex Ryan trying to lead us to the playoffs, we haven't had an offense that's really even been league average. We're talking about offenses that have placed generally like 26th or lower. If you can find a way to even make this an average offense in the NFL, you're top dog for a head coaching candidacy. So I do understand some of the cons, right? We're talking about a potential 1-year deal for an offensive coordinator if we can't reach the playoffs, based on the assumption that there is a playoff mandate out there, even though Woody Johnson said he doesn't do those. We do have an understanding that there's going to be a certain level of heat for Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas to get this thing right for next year. So if they walk out of the door, most likely the offensive coordinator is going to be let go as well. There is an interesting wrinkle that can be put out there, and I heard this mentioned for Frank Reich, or Wright, however it's mentioned. But if you make the next offensive coordinator an assistant head coach title as well, you could potentially make the argument that if Saleh and his team falters, that you would essentially be the, de facto head coach. In the meantime, maybe you can make an argument if the team does better during that period that you're eligible to be the next head coach for the New York Jets. So there's that to go with. So job security, probably not going to be the best, right? We also don't know what's happening at quarterback. The only guaranteed player on the roster is Zach Wilson. Offensive line wise, we have pieces, but everybody is coming off of some kind of significant injury. Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Max Mitchell. So I can understand some of the concerns that a coach would have coming in. Now, let's talk about the pros. We're talking about an organization that's going to be committed to bringing in whoever that candidate thinks is going to be the best quarterback to get his offense to operate right out the gate. I wouldn't even say that picking up a quarterback in the draft is out of order. I think it's a low possibility of that happening, but still, you never know. We have a running back that's an absolute superstar. Breece Hall will be coming back off an injury, but we can't forget what Michael Carter has done his rookie year as one of the most elusive running backs in the NFL. I'm pretty sure we can find somebody to get him back on track. We've seen what Zonovan Knight has been able to show. And the cherry on top is we can still bring back a James Robinson as kind of that bruising running back that has some sneaky shiftiness of his own. We have Garrett Wilson, who's produced a monstrous season with 4 terrible quarterbacks that I'm pretty sure no other team would really want. Maybe Mike White, outstanding. We have 2 veteran tight ends and a young rookie, or at least sophomore tight end in Jeremy Ruckert, who can provide you a lot of juice, a lot of ability to do some creative things, from hybrid fullback roles to splitting out as a slot receiver and different things like that. Offensive line wise, you do have Mekhi Becton to work with. You are going to be concerned about injuries, but you have an all pro, I would consider, an Elijah Vera Tucker and an up and coming tackle and Max Mitchell to work around. Again, we'll pour a lot of resources into the offensive line. And then what I think is going to be the biggest selling point is that your offense is not going to need to be the backbone of the team. You can still try to produce an effective offense that might not be top tier in the NFL. And you know in the back of your mind that you have a top 5 defense, hopefully, right? There's a lot of pieces we need to work with and things like that. But there's some upgrades that can be made there. You have in the back of your mind that you have a top 5, let's say we slip a little bit, top 10 defense that can go out there and help you. One of the best teams in terms of providing sacks last year. I'm sure we'll be able to bump up our takeaways. If nothing else, though, you know that Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed are eliminating wideouts and game plans. We'll see what happens in terms of finding ball hawking safeties and, some linebackers with coverage. But I think it's a strong enough selling point. You don't need your offense to do everything. If we place an average offense with the defense we had last year, we're absolutely talking about playoff conversations right now. So I think that's the selling point. I would probably say there's an argument to be made, right? Obviously, I think the Ravens are in a good situation, assuming Lamar Jackson does sign a contract extension. The Rams are always going to be a good situation, right? Matthew Stafford returning, Sean McVay still there. You get to not have to necessarily worry about play calling, but you can kind of learn to a certain degree at your own pace with him. I could see that being appealing. The Chargers obviously is going to have a top position, but for everybody else, I would maybe only put the Titans above us. I would consider us probably a top 5 offensive coordinator position destination, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Where would you put us in a ranking in regards to those other 13 teams, or 12 teams, I should say, that I mentioned? And what would be your sales pitch to an offensive coordinator in order to get them to sign on with us? So let me know what your guys' thoughts are about it, and I'll catch you again. Peace.